Hello and good evening to all of you. Here's welcoming each one of you to this inaugural edition of Cyber Talk, a thought leadership initiative from Securite. And today's session focus will be on Beat the BYOD Blues. My name is Bijoy George, and I oversee global marketing at Securite, and will also be the session host for this evening. Now, before I start, I wanted all of you to sort of help us get this to a fun beginning. So I want to request all of you to participate and give us your inputs on this fun poll. So Ranjit, can I request you and the team to serve the first poll of the day so that everybody can sort of, give their inputs? So all of you can see the poll in the poll window. I urge all of you to participate in that, please. Just want to check if I'm audible because some partners are telling me that I'm not audible. So can you just respond in the chat window if I'm audible? Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Indranil. Thank you. Thank you so much. So Ranjit, I think if you've got the time to have tabulated it at the back end, could you just serve the results, please? Okay, it seems like people are still punching in, so we'll just give it another couple of seconds. Ranjit, do you have the results now? Do you have to, would you have had the time to tabulate it? All right, so there we are. I think Mumbai and Pune seem to be neck to neck. And I'm glad to see that we have people who are confident, who are happy. Yeah, of course, there's a tad bit of the audience who's had a tough day at work and are tired, but equally excited. So I think it's a great start. I mean, if people are confident, happy, excited, even though they're tired, I think it provides for this perfect setting to get into this webinar. And that's a great way to get started. But before we get started, I want to appreciate the efforts of all our esteemed partners for having registered to attend this webinar. And secondly, a big thank you for having taken the time off your busy schedules. I'm sure you guys have a lot of meetings lined up, but you've taken the time off to log in. So a big thank you to all of you. Now, as we move into the official agenda, I want to make some quick housekeeping announcements. For one, all attendees will be placed on mute so that we cut off background noise and we can hear the speaker a lot more audible, so that there is clarity in what what we hear. Do unmute yourself during the Q&A session to ask any queries. Alternatively, or you can place yourself on mute thereafter. The Q&A session has been provided, like you can see, and we invite all of you to participate in the Q&A session. If you have any queries, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Alternatively, you could use the chat window to publish your questions, and I would be happy to relay them over to the subject marketing expert. That said, I'd like to invite Sneha Kartner, who oversees the EMM product portfolio, to walk us through the official agenda. Welcome, Sneha. Over to you. Over to you, Sneha.
Thanks, Biju. Hi, everybody. Good evening, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Sneha Kartkar, and I'm the product manager for the Enterprise Mobility Management portfolio here at Seqrite. Today, we'll be taking you through this agenda, and that's how we'll be progressing in the webinar. So let's begin by talking about the opportunities and challenges that come along with bring your own device, or BYOD, so to say. So before you begin racking your brains about what BC here really means, let me just clear that out for you. We don't really want to say before Christ here. In this context, it means before Corona. And you'll really get the significance of it once we proceed a little bit in the webinar. So let's start by talking about how the market has been shaping up. Let's start by talking about how the market has been shaping up for the last couple of years. We've seen a huge increase in the demand by employees to really have flexibility to use personal devices for work purposes. And why not? Flexibility brings comfort, and that in turn gives rise to higher employee availability, be it when they're probably working in non-official hours or working remotely or even working from home. And if that makes my customer happy because they get a much quicker response from my employees, that works for me. It's a win-win. All this in the long run paves the way basically for a high organizational productivity. No wonder a huge percentage of security leaders really encourage their employees to use their own devices for work. Of course, with controlled access to emails and calendars, that is. And bring your own device as a concept has been there for the longest time in the market. We're all aware of that. But the last couple of years have been tremendously, amazing for the Indian market, because we've seen a huge amount of acceptance coming in now for BYOD as a concept. And with the imminent rise of BYOD as a trend, there has been an important and pertinent question that has been on the minds of all the security leaders, the CISOs and CIOs across all verticals, which is, how do I ensure that the data, the company data which is residing on employees' personal devices remains secure? It's not misused in any way. And while this is a question that most people have still been contemplating in terms of how to answer, bang, we were hit by 2020. And nobody could predict what was going to happen in 2020. With the whole COVID situation, nobody was ready for it. And absolutely everybody has been struggling. But business has to go on, right? So we were all literally pushed into this whole work from home scenario. Of course, it all started out with a lot of chaos. Nobody was ready. The infra was not in place. There was lack of hardware in the market. There was a huge demand coming in, but not enough available in the market, which basically pushed employees to really use their own devices for work purposes. And yes, it started with a few teething challenges, but eventually the dust settled, people got used to it, work from home became a norm. In fact, yeah, just like that, work from home was the new normal. There were legislations which came into place around work from home. Companies started announcing policy changes to accommodate the work from home culture. And all this, with the whole BYOD trend, which was anyway on a rise, this work from home just boosted and accelerated the whole situation 10x. What was the result of that? The result was that we basically gave rise to a digital workforce. And this situation, what it really did was that important question which has been on the minds of security leaders in terms of security of data on employee devices suddenly became, priority one to be answered. Keeping that in mind, let me walk you through what the opportunity landscape looks for us currently in the market. So this graph really shows how the market has been performing for the last couple of years and how it is slated to grow for the next couple of years. And yes, the figures look very, very promising, but let me remind you, these are the figures or predictions which are made in the pre-corona era. What will happen post-corona with the whole work from home situation is just going to work further in our favor. And that's going to be amazing. But how do we really target this market which we are looking at? For that, we really need to understand what are the challenges that BYOD brings along with it. We really try to understand from CISOs and security leaders in terms of what are the topmost difficulties that they're looking at while implementing BYOD. And this is what they had to say. So if for people who really understand business know that, losing any kind of company data, critical data for that matter, or client data is one of the most cardinal sins that you can commit for a business. It is almost fatal. In fact, a survey actually says that about 50% businesses, SMBs, which end up committing this sin, eventually, say 6 months or a year down the line, end up closing down. So it's something you really need to avoid. Also, with anything new that you begin, there are bound to be mistakes you commit. And the second point which we're talking about, the unauthorized access to company data, is one of the most commonly committed mistakes when implementing a BYOD. Now, this is again another dangerous, mistake which we really don't want to commit, and CISOs should really look into how to avoid this right since day one. Which brings me to the third point, which is the malicious threats. Now, this is easily one of the most undermined aspects which most leaders, who are implementing BYOD or implementing EMM, MDM in their organizations, forget to consider while choosing the right EMM for this, for their organization. And I believe that's largely because a huge portion of people are still unaware of how grave or what's the criticality of the situation, what's the gravity of such threats. And that is something which you don't want to find out the wrong way. So this is something we should really look into. Which brings me to, of course, corporate compliance. With data being the new oil, its privacy, its protection is of utmost importance. And we need to make sure that we comply with all kinds of corporate policies, which is crucial. So talking about these challenges, which being the topmost challenges that most leaders are talking about with respect to BYOD, really makes me further believe that businesses need a containerization solution. Why do they need it? They need it to ensure that they enjoy the power and the flexibility of a bring your own device culture without having to think of any kind of added security risks that we have been talking about here. Which brings me to Seqrite Workspace. Now, most of you who have been associated with Seqrite for a while now would know that we have a complete entire suite of enterprise mobility management capabilities with a solution named Seqrite M Suite. But we were missing out on one critical use case, which was bring your own device. And after talking to a lot of my customers, I was trying to understand what are the real pain points that people actually face while implementing such solutions. What are the use cases that they're looking at, targeting? How do I really address these use cases and pain points? And that's how we started working on Seqrite Workspace. And we've launched this product in the market a couple of months ago. And since then, we've been having amazing feedback from our clients. So I'm happy to introduce you to Seqrite Workspace. What Workspace really does, if I have to put it in a few words, I'd say Workspace is an isolated digital container, which basically creates a virtual partition between your official data on the phone and your personal data on the phone. And it ensures that all your organization's proprietary data essentially lies securely inside the Workspace application on your phone. And of course, goes without saying, your IP always remains secure. The picture that you see on the right is how Workspace as an application looks like. And all those apps are the pre-built-in apps that we provide along with Workspace. So I'll talk more about it when we move on to the product tools section of this webinar. Moving on, why Workspace? If you have to ask me that, and if I have to really answer that question honestly, I'd say, let me walk you through what is it that we really have to offer in terms of a value proposition through Workspace. I've been talking to a lot of my customers, and one thing that really stands out as a difficulty while implementing a BYOD or an EMM solution in their organization, and weirdly enough, this has nothing to do with BYOD at all, is the fact that they face a lot from their employees. A lot of, employees are not really ready for implementing this kind of a solution, because the major concern, and which is common across all these people that I've been talking to, is that employees are not sure how much visibility their organizations will really have in their personal life. They're concerned, will their organization be able to see where they've been traveling to? Would they know their location? Would the boss be able to see who I'm calling? Will he be able to read my messages? Let me give you a final answer to that. No, they will not be able to do that. By segregating personal and business data on your phone, you essentially, employers can assure their employees that they will have visibility only into the business data that's residing on the phone and not otherwise. After all, who would really want their boss to know what content they're watching on YouTube, right? Just kidding. Talking about content, collaboration becomes a lot more easier when you've implemented and adopted Workspace. Because as a boss, I can actually share PPTs, Excel, documents, all kinds of content to a group of people probably working on the same project, and it automatically gets downloaded and they can really view it whenever they want to. It's downloaded on their phone, it resides inside the Workspace. And as an employee, say if I'm using Workspace on a regular basis, I can actually create the content on my phone. I can modify content, I can share it with all my colleagues. And when your phone does all that, who really needs a laptop, right? Talking about which, it goes without saying, all these applications that will lie inside the container will be working in complete synchronization with each other and in proper tandem. And of course, all these applications will be auto-signed in once you sign into Workspace, because that really gives that end user that ease of use, which is one of the major things that we should be looking at for with any kind of solution, actually. Speaking of which, it really reminds me, this is one of the things which we have specifically given a lot of focus. Once you start using Workspace, you'll realize how intuitive it is in nature to use. You don't really have to learn it. Very easy to get used to using it. And we figured that this is going to be one of those applications which any user is going to be using day in, day out. So if somebody has to really learn to use an application, I think we've really lost the point there. Interesting story, actually. Somebody once told me that one of the signs of an amazing product, be it hardware, software, anything actually, is the fact that it should feel like you've known it forever. Like you've been using that product forever. It should just flow. And that has been one of the major focus points while we have been developing Workspace. Which brings me to one of the most important points, the objective of this product, which is to ensure that data, organizational data on employees' devices needs to be secure. So we've introduced multiple DLP-based policies within Workspace, which ensures that organization is in complete control of official data residing on personal phones. And they also know and can control how this data interacts with other applications which reside on the phone. And I bring this point up specifically because in the recent times, there has been a huge surge in the number of fake applications and malicious applications that have been there even on App Store and Google Play Store for that matter. Third-party app stores is just another example. And that is not something that you would, how things go down once, official data interacts with such applications is something you can only imagine, and you wouldn't want to go down that route. But with Quick Heal's expertise in security and GoDeep.ai, which is a cloud-based malware hunting technology that we have founded here, which backs this product, you can be assured that we are completely on top of this situation. Which brings me to, if I have to really summarize, in a nutshell, Seqrite Workspace is a secure, intelligent, and easy-to-use platform which enables employees to work from anywhere, at any time, and on any device. With this, we are probably reaching the most exciting part of this webinar, which is the product tour. Just give me a second and I'll be sharing my mobile screen with you shortly. So this is Seqrite Workspace, the application that we just entered, and you can basically use fingerprint to log in, or obviously you can use password to log in, or it depends. It can be controlled through a policy, which we'll look at once we are looking at the console line. Just a heads up, this is how it will look for a person who is using Workspace on an everyday basis. So this is how it's going to be looking for your employees, for businesses and employees. What's the first thing that you need to do once you have enabled Workspace, downloaded it? Email. Now here I have already entered, I've already configured my email, but you see a box basically which asks you for your user ID and your password, and that's about it. You have just signed into your account and your mails will be auto-populated here. You can basically compose emails, add attachments, and send it across. You can add the attachments from the Vault, which we'll be talking about. Here you can really see how the folder structure, it will reflect just the way you have configured. The contacts and the calendar here at the bottom. As soon as you log into your emails, your contacts will auto-configure. It will be synchronized. Your calendar will be synchronized. It will auto-populate. You'll be able to see all the appointments that you have in a day. Sorry for that. You'll be able to see all the appointments you have in a day, in the week, and so on. Yeah, sorry. It just takes a little bit of time because I'm sharing the screen and vice versa. Yeah, so there you see on the screen, you can see all your appointments, what meetings you have, where they're going to be conducted, and the time. The other interesting part is the vault. Now, when I was talking about content collaboration, this is where, all those content will be reflected. If there's any attachment that you've been sent on email and you've saved it, this is where it will reflect. And it'll be auto-sorted on the basis of what kind of file that is. If your boss has shared any kind of, PPTs or anything which he has published, will reside here in the broadcasted file. The notes. This is nothing but a sticky note. So you can basically just, the way you create on your computer, make a sticky note, and it's there for you to see. Anything you just want to remember at the top of your head, make a note, and it'll be there. And the text editor here is more like a notepad which is on your computer, wherein you can store, there are to-do lists or anything that's important and you just want to make a note of it, you can create it here. The browser. Now this is something that I'd like to specifically mention, that this is a browser that we have indigenously created. The purpose of that is that this browser, which lies inside the workspace, as an organization, you'll have complete control on, what kind of URLs should and should not be accessed through this browser. You can ensure that probably Gmail, YouTube, all those sorts of things are not accessible through this browser. And again, we'll talk more about it when we are looking into what kind of policies are available. The camera. So another interesting use case that I came across. While I was talking to a few customers who basically deal with, government accounts and on government projects, one of the interesting use cases was that these people really have to travel door to door and talk to absolutely everybody, click pictures of the documents which are now categorized as PII with the recent Sri Krishna panel thing. And these documents then get stored on their phone's gallery. Now that is a very vulnerable point to be in, because there's absolutely no way that you can ensure that intentionally or unintentionally these photos may not be misused. So this is why we've really, to address that use case, we've put in a camera inside the workspace, and any picture that you click inside, so I'm just going to click a picture of where I'm sitting. Sorry, I think it just got disconnected. Give me a second and I'm connecting it back again. Yeah, so suppose I click a picture here. I can only basically find this picture inside the workspace, inside the vault in images. It will not reside on my phone's gallery. And that basically ensures that your personal and official data is segregated in the perfect manner. And then there's settings which basically to customize things for you. As an employee, I'm able to see what are the kinds of policies that have been applied on me, which is important these days because that's exactly where employees' concerns lie in. And then there's an option for me to change password and so on. And then there's help available in case I need any. So this is how Workspace would look like for anybody who's been using it day in, day out. Now let me show you the other end of it, how it's going to really look for the employer or the business guy or the administrator guy who's really going to control this product and manage all the mobility within the organization. Just give me a second and I'll be sharing my screen again. Perfect. This is the login for Securide M-Suite. Like I mentioned previously, M-Suite is the enterprise mobility management platform that we have, and Workspace will be available as an add-on option along with M-Suite. So it's as easy as somebody just opting for Workspace and they sign into their M-Suite existing account and it's just enabled. So I'm just going to show you how it looks like. This is how the dashboard will look for Workspace. Currently, I have only a single device enrolled, and I'll be able to see exactly how many devices, what is the enrollment status, whether anybody has uninstalled this application, and then I can basically ask him to go ahead and install it again. I can see what OS, how many endpoints. And on the right here, there is a web violation chart, which basically shows me how many people really try to violate the policies that you have set up. And I'll get back to this when I've spoken about the policies, and probably will be able to understand why it's here. So let's start with what are the kind of policies available for you to offer with Workspace. Now we've made it extremely customizable for administrators to be able to set up these policies on the basis of requirements that their organizations have, on the basis of their pain points and their use cases. Here they're able to basically enable or disable any of these applications which are available inside the Workspace. They can choose to have all or disable some of them. The container policy, you can decide whether to let people access Workspace even if they're offline, how or what should be the lockout time, what happens if this application is in the background, whether it should be locked immediately or not, whether to allow copy paste or not. Moving on, browser. With browser, I can set my default home page for the whole organization, or I can set separate default home pages for different sets of people. I can decide whether to upload, whether to allow a file upload or whether to allow a download. And in case I want to allow it, I can decide what should be the size that we should cap it at. Also, there's a screenshot policy. Again, this comes in with this whole DLP-based policies. Now, why you'll see it in most of these other spaces as well is because we made it extremely customizable. You can actually allow screenshot probably in your contacts application, but block screenshot in your vault, block it in email, because of course there is critical content probably lying in emails and vaults. So you have the option to choose to keep it on in one and off in the other. With email, currently within Workspace, we support O365 and G Suite. And you can configure it here as an administrator. You can decide to allow or disallow email attachments, and if you allow it, you can cap the size of it. You can decide whether or not an employee should be allowed to send emails outside of their official domain, outside of their organization or not. And if so, again, you can decide the size if they're sending in an attachment as well. Again, there's the screenshot policy. With password, you can decide whether it should be a simple PIN-based password or alphanumeric, or make it even more difficult. What should be the length for it? How often should it get expired? What should be the duration? Whether or not to enable Touch ID, and so on. Similarly, across calendar, contacts, and vault, screenshots, whether they should be allowed or not. So once, as an administrator, you have decided what sort of policies you want for what groups of people, you can create those policies here, and then you can just apply them to those groups of people. And it's as simple as that. It's good to go. Now, coming to the browser aspect. here essentially you can create a profile in terms of what kinds of websites you want to allow or not. Just for ease, currently I've created a demo profile which really shows me these are all the blacklisted URLs. I can even put in just a keyword. Like right now I've just put in Naukri. It could be any URL which has Naukri in it will be blocked automatically, or you can enter the whole URL. That's a choice that you can make. Or then there is this other option available at the bottom here, block access to all URLs except the whitelisted ones. So I can simply right now say if I am a marketing guy and I want to ensure that only Facebook and Google should be allowed, all that I have to do, not Twitter probably, all that I have to do is put Google and Facebook in whitelisted and tick this and save it. And that's about it. You're good to go. This person will only and only be able to access Google and Facebook through the browser in this situation. Which now brings me back to what we were talking about on the dashboard, which is this section here, the web violation report. Now, you'd ask me, if I've already set up blacklisted URLs, why is it still showing me a violation? Is it that the person has been able to access Facebook and so it has been violated, a policy has been violated? Not really. So once you've set up the blacklisted URLs, they will in any situation not be able to access those URLs. But if they try to do it, that's where, this data is coming in from. So there is a person, by the device name this, who has tried to violate a certain policy 39 number of times. Now, which policy is that? When I click on 39, I basically get a drill down report in terms of which exactly websites which were in the blacklist he has tried to really look into. Why this is here is to give you, as an administrator, to give you the intent of a certain person. Because eventually what we've noticed is, if we are able to capture the intent of a person, in the long run, it really helps us to take the necessary action before a certain incident occurs. And that's what we've tried to do here. We've tried to capture the intent of the users. With that, I think I have really covered all the things that I have to talk about. And I'd like to open the session for question and answers.
Thank you, Sneha, for that lively demo. We've now reached the designated slot for Q&A. You can unmute yourself and ask any queries that you may have. Alternatively, I know I can see a few questions in the chat box, so let me start with that. Let me relay that. So we have actually two questions from Mr. V. Ranganath. His first question is, how much storage space is required on your phone? That's the first question. Sneha, would you like to take that and then I'll get to the second one?
Sure. So the application in itself is not more than 25 MB, and that's all that you need to install the application. But as and when you configure your email and you start receiving emails and they start getting stored, the size of the application goes up. If you really start, creating content, again, depending on the size of the content, the application size will proportionally increase. So a good way to answer that question would be, whatever is the size of, the storage space on your phone is, the minimum space required is 25 MB. But the maximum could be whatever size your phone can hold in terms of storage.
Thank you, Sneha. Mr. V. Ranganath has a second question. Let me read that out for you. Once you give access to internet on the employee mobile, they can also use the internet to view their personal WA images or videos. How can we avoid this?
Okay, so I'm not sure I completely get this question because I'm sure on personal devices, we cannot really control whether there should be access to internet or not. And, all that I can say in terms of answering this question is probably if your data is residing or official data is residing inside workspace, I don't think you have anything to worry about even if they have access to internet. Because as an organization at any point in time, if I feel that there is a reason for me to worry, I can remotely wipe off official data from the employee's personal device without touching anything related to their personal data. So I hope that answers the question.
Yep. Mr. V. Ranganath, would you want to ask this query? I hope this addresses your question. Okay, we don't hear from him. So let's move to the next one. The next question is from Sabnam. Will there be technical assistance from Seqrite to set up the device at the end customer level?
So sure, I'm probably not the perfect person to answer this since it's not related to the product, but from experience previously, yes, we, in fact, this is one of the USPs for Seqrite, is that we have the most elaborate support framework available as compared to anybody in terms of competition. There will be assistance from our support team. We will ensure that the end customer, somebody at the end customer, the right person is trained to use this product, and we will assist them through the initial first steps. That's how we usually do, and once the customer is comfortable, we hand it over to the right people.
Thank you, Sneha. There's another question from Mr. Ashok. It reads, is this product for mobile only or laptop as well?
So this product is for mobility only at this point in time. You can enroll mobiles, tablets, all this, not laptop or desktop.
Thank you, Sneha. Mr. Sunny
But
Patel.
just to add to, just one other additional information, since I am understanding where this question is coming from. Going forward, you will basically see that we have a common platform to manage your laptops as well as your mobiles and tablets and desktops all from a single console. It is on the roadmap, and this is something we will be very soon launching. So look out for that.
Thank you for that, Sneha. There's another question. Can we use Office 365 on Seqrite? Mr. Sunny Patel is asking this.
Yes. So currently we support Office 365 and G Suite as an email server inside Seqrite Workspace.
Okay. We have another question, Mr. Gurudat Prabhu. The question is, how do you add your own apps in the workspace?
So that is one other aspect that we have been working on. The team is researching, and we are figuring out how to ensure that you can basically push your custom application inside the workspace. It is on the roadmap, and this is something you'll see happening very soon in the product.
Okay. We move to the next question from Akuti. Can I delete complete enterprise data from employee devices? Also, can I wipe data from the device if the device is not connected to the network?
That's actually a very interesting question. So yes, I can remotely wipe off all enterprise data from employee's device. But in a situation where the device is not connected to the network, currently it's not connected to the internet, we have an option of a policy actually called time bomb. Now this is specifically, the use case around this is, say, if you know that a certain set of people usually connect to the network at least once a day or at least once in 2 or 3 days. But, you know, these are people probably going onto the field, not, you know, coming to office really, but at least once in 2-3 days they do connect in. So you can basically set a time bomb policy around it, which may, in a sense that, okay, if this person who usually connects once in 2 or 3 days at least, if he doesn't consecutively connect to the network for say 5 days, on the 6th day, automatically all enterprise content or all enterprise data from his personal device should be wiped off. Yes, you can do that through the time bomb policy. So whatever you configure, if it is consecutive 6 days, on the 7th day automatically the data gets wiped off. And for that reason, you don't even need the device to be connected to the network or internet. It'll happen irrespective. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Sneha, for that. I learned a new word today, time bomb policy. Thank you for that. I have another question for you from Mr. Nilesh Kadakia. It says, can we use it on Chromebook?
To answer that, no. Currently, we do not support Chromebook, but that is something we've been looking into. Probably somewhere down the line, you might have support for this.
Okay. Vishal Sharma has a question for you. Does it support iOS, and how hard it is to delete the application?
Okay. Again, interesting question. Yes, it supports iOS. We have support for Android and iOS currently. How hard is it to delete this application? That's really the interesting part, because very often I've been asked, I want to compel my employees from not deleting this application. But that's really not the objective of this product. The objective is that if there is enterprise data residing on this phone, it should only reside inside this application so that I can control it. But if the employee chooses to not have this application at all on the phone, then you cannot, as an organization, really compel them to keep certain applications on their personal phone. So yes, it is easy to delete the application. And yes, the administrator will be informed that, say, employee ABC has deleted the application. But you cannot really compel them to. If, as an organizational policy, you want to compel them, it has to be offline. But through this application, it's not really the use case that we're trying to solve. But we can always ensure that if there's any kind of company data on the device, it will only be through this application.
Okay, we have another question from Mr. V. Pathak. Will it support Gmail as email? If no, then why?
Yes, it supports Gmail.
All right. Mr. Sandeep Raghuvanshi has a question. Can we separate restriction between mobile owner data and company data?
So, okay, I'll choose to answer that slightly in a different manner. Yes, there will be a difference. It will be segregated. Personal data on the mobile and company data will be segregated. But organizations' control in terms of policies and restrictions can only be maintained on the business data which is residing on the phone. There is no way for organizations to be able to put restrictions around what happens with personal data that is residing on the phone.
Okay. We have another interesting question from Mr. Anubhav Jain. He wants to know if Workplace is based on annual subscription or one-time payable charge.
So it is basically on an annual subscription basis. There is the 1-year subscription as well as 3-year subscription available.
Okay. Thank you for that, Sneha. Mr. Pankaj Jain has a question. What about data backup when my employee leaves the organization?
That's another question that I'm usually asked. Currently, we do not offer a backing up functionality, but that is something we've been looking into since so many of my customers have been asking me for that. And I'll be coming up with a solution for backup very soon. So that is something you can look out for on the roadmap for this product.
That's great, Sneha. We have another question from Mr. R.M. Srinath. Will rooting or jailbreaking the device affect the security of the application, or it can also be put as, can this application be used on a rooted device?
Good question. Rooting or jailbroken, rooted devices or jailbroken devices are usually vulnerable in nature and can be used in any way. And there would not be any control that any application can hold, basically if the device is rooted or jailbroken. So we put in a check that if the device is rooted or jailbroken, this application cannot be installed on that device at all. So, because again, the objective of this product is if there is data residing inside this phone, under any circumstance, we don't want to compromise on the security. So, installation is not allowed on rooted or jailbroken devices.
Okay. Prashant has a question for you. Is Workspace a standalone product? How can I opt for the Workspace?
So, like I've answered that question previously, Workspace is a use case of BYOD that we're trying to really address, and it is available with the EMM portfolio that we offer as a product offering, which is Seqrite M Suite. So it's as simple, if you want to opt for Workspace, it's as simple as you buy the EMM portfolio and just opt in for Workspace while buying it. So it's more like an add-on to answer it.
Okay. Mr. Pankaj Pandey has a question. Can I control SIM swapping and allow employees to use only company provided SIM?
Now that is actually a use case for an MDM and less from a BYOD perspective. That is something that we could probably look at doing through a proper EMM solution rather than through Workspace. So if you're asking, the question is really, can we control SIM swapping through Workspace? The answer is no. We won't be able to do that.
Okay. Thank you, Sneha. We have a question from Mr. M.S. Shanmuga Shankar. Basically, he's asking, is there any provisions available in mailing? As in mailing here is reference to emailing. Part to avoid installing personal mail ID and using Gmail, Yahoo. I mean, employee must use only official mail ID and not personal webmail addresses.
Yes, again, important question. Yes, because the email application that you saw inside Workspace is basically, an indigenously developed email application. It's not like an Outlook application wherein employees can configure any kind of emails there. You can only configure official emails inside that application, and that can be controlled from the organization's console level, where the admin can really enable probably G Suite or Outlook, and only those emails can be configured inside. Now, there was a loophole wherein, through the browser, if somebody wants to access their email, the Gmail, the personal email basically, be it Yahoo, Gmail, anything. But through the policies for browser, again, you can ensure that can be controlled. You can put all those into the blacklisted URLs and they won't be able to access that even through the browser. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you. Then we have Mr. Gurudat Prabhu again. As an administrator, how do you add the company's business apps in the Workspace?
Sorry, Biju, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, it says, as an administrator, how do you add the company's business apps in Workspace?
Okay, so it's the same question that we answered a while ago, wherein currently we are not able to push any kind of company's applications or any custom applications into the Workspace. What we have as an offering is a preset of available applications, but we're looking into, researching into how this can be made possible, and this is one of the most top priority items that you will be you'll see which comes onto the roadmap with this product.
Okay. This is not a question, but a request to Ranjit and Sriram, if we can unmute Mr. V. Ranganar. I guess he has a question. Can you please unmute him, please? Mr. Kalasamy M has a question. Can we use this on iPhone or iPad?
Yes, we can.
Mr. Pankaj Pandey has a question again. Let me just read that out for you. Also, can I control phone resetting as camera storage is in Workspace in BYOD?
I haven't really completely understood the question, but from what I understood is that he's probably talking about can I control formatting this phone or something of that sort. Again, this is a use case which is addressed through an EMM, and Workspace completely caters only to BYOD situations. So no, through Workspace you cannot control whether the phone gets factory reset or not.
Okay. Then we have Mr. Saurabh Gupta. Can be used on smart TV and other smart devices?
Okay. No, so currently we cannot use it on smart TV or any kind of smart devices.
Okay. Can we, Mr. Sudhindra has a question. Can we customize our own policies other than default policies?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a default policy set up just so that it's easy to start off with the product. But as you move into it and as you get comfortable, you can set up n number of customized policies which work for your organization. That can be done.
Okay, thank you. There are a few more questions. So Prathamesh has one. It says, how many users can be supported by Seqrite Workspace?
Okay, so that's a question that comes up usually. So there's no limit to the number of users that you can support through Seqrite Workspace. It can be as large as you want it to be. Okay. We have a comprehensive setup on AWS, and there is no limit to the number of users that you would want to address through Workspace.
Okay. Mr. Madan Sharma has a question. Do we have conditional access and application protection policies available for Office 365?
I would need further understanding of this question because I am not sure how to answer it on the basis of, are we talking about conditional access to O365 or what exactly? If you could probably put in more details, Mr. Madan.
Mr. Madan Sharma, if you are listening, can you unmute yourself and ask this question again, please? Mr. Madan Sharma, if you're there. Okay, fine, we'll respond back to him. I have a few more questions, Neha. Let me just get to...
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Anubhav Jain, can I check employee data on his device through Workspace portal? I'm talking about Workspace data.
Okay. Not really. You can control how this data interacts with other applications or with applications within the Workspace, but you cannot really have visibility into what this data really is. So if you're saying, can you view probably the PPTs or Excels or probably emails which reside on some employee's phone, the answer is no. You won't have visibility even inside Workspace data. You can only basically control it and how it should reside on the phone. That's about it, through all the policies.
Sai Kumar has a question. How unique is our product when compared with similar products?
That's an interesting question, actually. So if you see, quite a few of the competitors have something or the other in terms of capability for addressing BYOD use cases. But one point that I'd specifically like to highlight and call out is the mobile threat management aspect. Now, this is an aspect which, again, is very underrated, and most people are still not aware of why it's required, but it started to show, there are so many attacks which have been happening, so many, the ransomware that's residing on phone, data stealth, all these things which are now coming up and which will be hitting the market very soon. It is a very, very essential thing that your EMM solution basically not just takes care of mobile security management, which really is the anti-theft and the remotely wiping capabilities, but also has a specific capability to manage threat, which is available on devices these days. because it's always good to be ready for what's going to hit you. And with what's happening currently and with the whole work from home situation and the number of attacks on phones also going up in this whole situation, you can only be ready for it. So this is one thing that really stands out in our product, because it's an integrated part of our EMM portfolio. And you can basically see how, we've really we've heard customers who've said that this is one thing that has helped them to really understand, an attack before it has happened on them, because they've seen certain viruses coming in, certain malwares coming in, which were captured in the product, and they were not sure that it was, there was something coming their way which was much bigger than this, and we've been able to stop that through the analytics that we provide in the threat management aspect. So that is one thing I think really stands out in this product uniquely as compared to all our competitors.
Thank you, Sneha, for that. The other question is that, do we get real-time reports on the console, and is the product customizable?
Yes, we get real-time reports in the console. You can set up any kinds of report. Again, with reports as well, there are some out-of-the-box reports which are available, but also there is an option of customized reports available, where you can customize what kind of reports your organization really requires, and then schedule it probably daily, weekly, monthly, and it'll automatically get generated, and you'll be able to access it. And again, with the second question, whether the product is customizable, could you give me more details around what do you mean with customizable? If you're saying in terms of policies and profiles, yes, it is customizable. But if this question is anything more than that, I would want to know what exactly do you mean by customizable, to be able to answer it more accurately.
Sure. Let's move to the next one. If there is a browser open in the background and you open the browser through this application, will one of the connection get terminated? If yes, which one and how?
Okay. Not really. Okay, this is an interesting use case. I would want to know why this question came up, but to answer it, I don't think either of the connections should get terminated. But I will get back to you on this one by actually checking it here.
Sure. So, Mr. Srinath, we'll come back to you as soon as we have the appropriate response for you. Okay, we have a few more questions. Let me just bring it up for you. To manage the workspace, is there a need for a different hardware?
Not really. This solution is hosted on the cloud, and it's also available as an offering on-premise, but so if you opt for an on-premise offering, we could recommend what hardware, but if you're using the cloud offering, cloud variant of it, then you don't need any kind of hardware specifically for this product.
The other question is, if I want to change my phone, then how the old phone data will get synced into the new phone?
Okay, so to answer that, like I said previously, since we don't have any backup functionality, the old phone data will not sync in. So if you changed your phone and again you've downloaded Workspace application, once you configure your email, all your emails will auto-populate, and all the other applications such as contacts and calendar will sync automatically. But if you're specifically referring to data which was residing inside the vault, if you've created some new data and it's residing inside the vault, then no, there is no way to sync it to a new phone currently. But once we address the backup, the requirement which has come in from backup perspective, probably we could look at a way to really sync this data to the new phone.
We have a question here. It says, can we secure data from Workspace from other applications? I mean, restrict copying, moving data from Workspace to other non-Workspace applications.
Yes, absolutely. So that is exactly the objective of this product, and you can restrict any kind of movement of data from within workspace to any application which is outside the workspace. It's a given that you cannot basically send, copy, paste, or even take a screenshot of any data which is lying inside the workspace. So there is absolutely no way that you can, transfer the data which is inside the workspace outside it. So that is something we ensure does not happen. But there is a way for it to happen the other way around. So in case an organization has a use case wherein they want to access data which is outside the workspace and transfer it inside the workspace, such as if I want to access a picture which is stored on my phone gallery and send it through an email to a colleague of mine, if my organization has allowed it as a policy, I may be able to do it.
Okay. Mr. Rajesh has a question. It says, many MDM softwares are available in the market. So I want to know, how is Seqrite different from other MDM offerings, and what will the USP be to pitch in the market?
Sure. So, like I said, one of the major differentiators is the threat management aspect of it. But to add on to it, since we're here talking about M Suite and not really specific to workspace, I'd say there are multiple things actually, honestly, to ask me. Because yes, a lot of these products, other MDM products, other EMM products, do cater to the same set of use cases. But the differentiator really lies in the details or the nitty-gritties of how each and every feature has been developed. Take, for example, the fencing feature that we offer. Now, I'm aware that quite a few of the competitors offer a fence, such as a geofence or a time fence. But it's the details of how this feature has been developed within Seqrite, which is really the differentiator. Within Seqrite, you can actually create and be set with, say 10 set of geofences, about 15 time fences, and say 5 Wi-Fi fences. And while you're really applying it to a user, you can ensure that you apply all kinds of fences and then set a relationship between these fences. So suppose I have set up a geofence and a time fence and a Wi-Fi fence, and I put a relation of OR between the 3 fences, and then I put a set of policies which should be applied if this triggers. What I'm really doing is I say that, okay, if this person enters Pune and he is, probably connected to a specific Wi-Fi, say a Quick Heal Wi-Fi, for example. If he is entering Pune and connected to Quick Heal Wi-Fi and the time is between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., okay, that's when the policy will be triggered, and that's how the AND relation works. If I put this relation between the 3 fences as OR, it's more like if this person enters Pune, or if he is connected to Quick Heal Wi-Fi in some other state probably, or if the time is between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If any of these is true, the policies will trigger in. Again, with each of these fences, I can put in multiple fences. So instead of Pune, I can say, okay, if this person, there is an area in Pune called Viman Nagar and there is another area called Camp. Okay, so I can say that if this person enters Viman Nagar or Camp and the time is between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and probably is connected to a Quick Heal Wi-Fi, the policy should trigger in. So what I'm really trying to say is how the details of any kind of feature is developed is where you'll really see the differentiator. And I would really recommend for you to start using M Suite, wherein you'll see that each of the features that we've developed, we've ensured that certain use cases are catered till the T. It has absolutely nothing is not possible through M Suite. You can do everything that you want to because you have the options to do that through the features that we offer. So I think I have answered the question, so to say. But if there's anything else specifically that you'd like to ask, I'd be happy to answer. And another USP is, of course, the support that we offer.
We have a question from Mr. Dhaval. Let me read that out for you. If device is lost and new device is being installed against the old one, do we need to create and deploy the policy again, or just installation of the workspace will take care of the security part?
So if the device is lost, I think the first step that needs to be taken is probably remotely wiping off all the enterprise data that's available on that device, because you don't know whose hand it's going to be falling in and how that data might be used. And yes, once they set up the new device and workspace is downloaded, you don't really need to create the policy again. All that you have to do is assign that policy back to that user. That's about it.
Okay.
The creation bit of it has already been done in the past. When you have created that policy for that specific user, you just have to apply it or deploy it.
So we have a question from Mr. Sandeep Raghuvanshi. Do we have any feature which can restrict adding other email account into the mobile except company domain mail?
So if you've seen through the policy when we were really demoing the product, this is a setting available at the console end where the administrator can set up a policy, organizational policy on the basis of the preference. So suppose I have set up O365 as the email which will be used, and an employee has downloaded Workspace and is trying to configure Gmail account into it, it will not be possible. The Workspace application will not even accept that login. So what I'm trying to say here is, yes, there is complete control on what account the end user will sign into. It is a policy that you can push from the console end, and you will be in complete control of what emails are signed into Workspace.
Okay. We have a few more questions. Let me just bring it up for you. Mr. Ashok wants to know, is the device identified using MAC ID of the device?
There are multiple ways of identifying a device, but yes, a MAC ID is also one of the inputs that we use. So yes, we have the MAC ID as well.
Mr. Pushparaj Rajput has a question. As it is cloud product, would data reside on mobile only, or would it be mirrored somewhere else?
So no, it is a cloud product wherein the console is accessible through anywhere. That's the reason we call it a cloud offering. But all kinds of company data will only reside on that specific employee's phone. It will not be mirrored anywhere else. It will not be transferred to a cloud at all.
Okay, Mr. Saurabh has a question. He says, can end user switch mobile phone and data is synchronized involved?
Not really. Currently, if you switch the mobile phone, you can reconfigure your email ID and it'll be auto-sync. But if you're talking about data which is residing inside the vault, then not really. You will lose the data which was in the vault. And like, again, previously mentioned, the backup feature would probably help in this sense, and that is something which is on the roadmap.
Okay. Sachin has a question. Is Workspace giving additional mobile security features to secure complete mobile from internet?
Yes, because Workspace is available as an add-on with the Enterprise Mobility Management Suite, which is M Suite. The mobile security features that we're talking about, or the anti-malware functionality, is an inbuilt offering along with M Suite. So yes, it will secure your complete mobile from the internet.
Okay. There are two other questions. I'm going to combine it, Sneha. Is it next generation mobile device management software, and can we add external device like a fingerprint scanner?
Yes, it is the next generation mobile device management software, so to say, because of all the USPs that we have spoken about currently. And with respect to the fingerprint scanner, which is an external device, we would have to look into it. Probably if we can connect offline, we can look into what kind of fingerprint scanner are we talking about and whether it's possible or not.
Okay. All right. One last question on the chat window. Do we have location tracking of the individual employee in this application?
Specifically from a workspace perspective, no, because again, the objective of this product is not really to manage the device or the employee, rather it is to manage the enterprise data that's residing on the device. So if you're saying, can we track employees through workspace? No, but yes, through M Suite, we can track employees. So that is a specific MDM use case which is catered to in the EMM solution that we have to offer, and that can be done through M Suite.
All right. So we've kind of addressed most of the questions on the chat window. I would urge all of you to raise your hands and we can unmute, and therefore if there are any questions you want to address in person, please feel free to do so.
Viju, I think there's one more question I see here. How do we provide remote support to a user if required? Is there any remote support app we have? So to answer that, yes, again, since Workspace is an add-on offered on Seqrite M Suite, M Suite has a remote device control functionality which was specifically designed for remote troubleshooting. So you can use that to provide any kind of remote support that your employees might require and address them remotely.
Okay. Fair enough. Thanks, Neha. Mr. V. Ranganath, I can see your request. You can write to marketing@seqrite.com and I'll be happy to have your queries addressed. Happy to help. Just drop me a mail and I will ensure it reaches the right resource. Thanks, Mr. Ranganath. All right, if there are no questions in person, I think we should, can we move on? Does anybody have a question to ask? Please raise your hands and we'll unmute them. All right, in that case, then let's move on. Thank you for that whole bunch of questions. We spent a fair amount of time addressing those queries. So thank you for that enthusiastic participation. And before we get into the next, few things that we need to do to close, can I request all of you to give us your inputs? This is the last poll of the day, and I promise you it's very simple. You just have to input your response, just a click. So Ranjit, can I request you to serve the poll, the last poll for the day, please? There you go, team. The poll window actually has opened up. So can I request all of you to submit your responses? It'll just help us do a better job next time. Let's just give it a couple of seconds and then we move on to the next. Ranjit, are we in a position to tabulate and post it? Okay. Teams are still answering, so let's just give them a couple of more seconds. Can you tabulate it now, Ranjit? Are we good? All right. So thank you. Thank you for that enthusiastic participation and for all the inputs that you've given us. We've recorded your feedback and you can be rest assured that we will act upon it. and we'll come back to you with more such engagements. And at this point in time, I want to invite Mr. Kuldeep Raina, Global Head of Sales, to deliver the word of thanks. Over to you, Kuldeep.
Thank you, Bijoy. Extremely great session, and I would personally like to thank each one of you for having your valuable time with us. It was a great presentation made by Sneha, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Probably I was very observant about all the kind of the questions that you put it well, and these all of these questions was a great feedback to us, and it was extremely a great audience to have it today, right? And also some of the questions were super great questions. And while all the question answer session was going through, and I was accumulating up my thoughts, and it was coming out to something that when we look at the enterprise mobility, I think this is the third largest threat vector which most of the cyber criminals are using. So probably when we talk about from a cybersecurity industry scale, we always have been focusing towards email and web as the prime two vectors. But today what we are offering is basically in terms of what Sneha was emphasizing was on the enterprise mobility, which is quite important, which actually is the need of the hour. I hope all of the partner community of ours will leverage this opportunity. And, Quick Heal today is in a great position to offer the entire solution stack for the complete security requirements of the customers. So if you look at that, Quick Heal today presents the most of the solutions towards all evolving threat landscapes, whether those landscapes are from a perspective of infrastructure, whether those threat landscapes are from data protection or from information assurance. So we are binding the glue together to bring in a complete unified security for our customers. And this is a great opportunity. This was one of the first great initiatives which was being taken up by Bijoy, our great CMO, and I would really like to thank him for this initiative. And overall, all of you will see us coming back to you with a lot of other product portfolios, with a lot of other opportunities, with a lot of other offerings that we have that can actually create a win-win situation between all of us. And thank you for being with us. And thank you, Sneha, for making a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Kuldeep. Thank you. Before I kind of sign off, I want to call out Mr. Vinayak Parab. Do write to me at marketing@securite.com with your query, and I'll be more than happy to address that. So dear partners, I think we've come to pretty much the end of the evening's official agenda. It was such a pleasure to host all of you, and all those questions like Kuldeep called out, I know, just kind of got us thinking as well. And also, it also serves as directional inputs for us to sort of come back to you with more more functional inputs. It was a pleasure to host all of you. I hope you found this session useful, and we will be hosting many more such sessions like this, and we'd love to have your participation going forward as well. If you have any specific feedback or any support related queries, do mail them to me at marketing@securite.com, and you can be assured that you will get a response. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and look forward to hearing from us again. Thank you.